Good morning, my name is Kelly Tarazona, and today I'm going to talk about project management. The core of the subject is Prog 6000. So the agenda for today is to talk about project management processes, project management methodologies, project management knowledge areas, the reasons for project failure, effective project management, consequences of project management inefficiency, conclusions, and finally the references. So first of all, the project management is the application of knowledge, skills, tools, and techniques in order to meet the project requirements. So these processes ensure the effective flow of the project life cycle. So there are 5 project management processes. The first one is the initiating processes that helps to set the vision of what is going to be accomplished in the project. The key document created here is the project charter and the stakeholder register. The second process is planning, and here establishes the total scope of the projects. The third one is the executing processes, and here is where the project teams starts doing the work of creating the deliverables while the project manager coordinates those resources. The fourth one is the monitoring and controlling processes, that here we compare the initial plan to the actual. We measure the variance and we take the correction action if it's necessary. The last process is closing, and here is the formal close of the project, but also the acceptance from the customer. So there are different project management methodologies, but the best methodology to select is what makes sense and is the most suitable for the project. The most common methodologies are PRINCE2, that is based in themes, principles, and processes. There are other methodologies as Scrum, that is based in processes. Another common methodology is PMI, that is based in processes and many standards. So here, the project management knowledge areas in total are 10. These knowledge areas are based on the PMI Painbook. The first one is the project integration management, and here these knowledge areas contains the task that hold the overall project. So here the document that we create is the develop project chapter. The second one is the project scope management, and here this process is all about making sure that everyone is concerned with the project and is clear the main aim of the project. The third one is the project schedule management, and here it includes the time to complete each individual task relating to the project objective. The fourth one is the project cost management, and here is to mention all about the project's financial requirement. Another one is the project quality management, and here, in other words, the quality is equal to the specifications, and the quality of the project has to meet the needs of the stakeholders. Another one is the project resources management, and is how the project manager runs the project team and the resources. So the resources could be people, equipment, facilities, and funding to complete a project activity. All of these resources to complete a project activity. Another one is the project communication management. another one is the project risk management, and here the project manager should conduct all the risk management work and then identify and analyze the known and unknown risks. So in these knowledge areas, every risk has a likelihood and impact. Another one is the project procurement manager, and this knowledge area relates to the process of purchasing or acquiring product, service, or results. The last one is the project stakeholders management. So currently the stakeholders play an important role in determining the success or failure of a project. So a stakeholder could be a sponsor, customers, the project manager, and business analysis. In other words, it's all of these people that is affected or involved in the project. So here, as a case study, I select this project that is the United States 2000 decennial census, field data collection automation. So this project, I'm gonna talk about what is this project. So in 2001, the USA Census Bureau decided to initiate a project that would modernize how they collect the data for the census of 2010 census. Instead of using paper forms, they will build software to use a collecting that survey data. So, but what happened? The technology was more complex to build than thought. So this software that they needed to create in order to collect all of this data, instead of using paper forms, was more complicated. So after almost 7 years, they have to find another company to help to develop this project. But in 2008, they had a problem because they had a short time to finalize the project. So in 2008, they decided to stop the project. And in 2010, for the census of the project, they had to invest $3 billion to do the project, but with papers. So they have to do the census with the paper forms. So at the end, the project wasn't completed on time, and the Census Bureau had to request an additional $3 billion in funding to complete the 2000 census survive on paper. So this is an example of a project that unfortunately they failed in the project. But this is the reality of the project. Not always the projects are successful. So applying the project management, they could identify what were the reasons for project failure. So for this example, this case study, they found that the project manager was inexperienced, that the organization's inability for making decisions was really bad because they didn't have a special process and also roles to make decisions. Also, the government found that the business analysis was ineffective. Other one was the failure to establish system performance requirements. They failed. The project manager failure to build an effective project schedule. And finally, was a lack of risk analysis and management. But what happened? The project management is important to get successful or failure projects. So if we apply all of the techniques and tools that the project management has, we can get an effective project. So in this example that I mentioned, they could apply all of these aspects that I'm going to mention in order to get a successful project. So they should have an experienced project manager. That is a really important point to get a successful project. Another one is to do an effective communication and achievable and measured goals, and accurate budget. This is really important because in some projects, at the beginning, the budget is one, but at the end is other. Another one is appropriately allocated resources. So this is an important role of the project manager. Other point is to recurrent practices of risk management is important always for project manager to be always focused during all the phases on risk management, because there are maybe some risks that we know, but there are others that can appear while we are developing the project. And another point is the effective stakeholders management. As I mentioned before, currently the role of the stakeholders is really important because they know what they want or what they expect for our projects. So we have to involve the stakeholders from the beginning and at the end of the project. So, but what are the consequences of project management inefficiency? In the case study, what happened? There are two terrible consequences that really happened, and was in order to time and cost. The time was that the project lost around 8 years because the project started from 2001 until 2008. And during this time, they couldn't finish the project. And the other big consequence was that they spent around more than $5 billion and on extra cost. And another general consequence of project management inefficiency normally have the project failure, the lost opportunities, because we are investing in other project that if it's not successful, so we lost the opportunity to invest in other projects. The branch of goals, the poor reputation, the competitive disadvantage, the inefficiency, the incomplete project, that's really happened when we don't implement all the knowledge of project management. Another one is the uncertainty, the increased risk, and even there are companies that they invest really for a really cost or a high cost that the company has a bankruptcy. Okay, so what is the conclusion? The first conclusion of all this topic is that the application of the project management processes is iterative and many processes are repeated during the project. Other one is there is more than one way to manage a project. Even with all of the methodologies we have, not always there are any one solution or there is one methodology to apply. No, there are many, so we can choose depends of our project. Other conclusion is that the project I mentioned about the census illustrates the most classic mistake in project management, that is the underestimation of complexity. At the beginning, the work team thought that was a simple project, but at the end they realized that it was really complex. Another one is that the project management determines the successful or failure of a project. So here is an important point, because that's why this project management help for project manager to develop all of the projects. So it's important always to follow all of these knowledge, skills, techniques. Another one is to avoid project failure due to unexpected risk. Estimation need to reflect both known and unknown risk. And the last conclusion is that not all projects are successful. When at least one area of knowledge is not well managed, it negatively affects project execution. Okay, this was my presentation, and here are the reference list. Thank you so much.